Today marks the World Fetal Alcohol Syndrome Day and the International Fetal Alcohol Spectrum Disorder Day. Joining us now to spread awareness on today's health events is CEO of the Foundation for Alcohol-Related Research, Dr. LEANA Olivier. Dr. LEANA, welcome to The Loft.
Thank you, and thank you for having me on your program.
International FASD Day and World FAS Day is commemorated globally on the 9th of September every year. Now, why was this day selected?
It actually started off in 1997 when a group of parents of children with FASD, fetal alcohol spectrum disorder, got together in New Zealand and Australia, and they were looking for support and moral support, information and so, and it was very hard to find. So they started an online support service and then started lobbying for International FASD Day to raise awareness. So the September was selected because most of the births in the world, interestingly enough, is taking place in September because it's 9 months after Christmas and New Year. So a lot of these births are also linked to alcohol use and abuse during the time of conception. So the 9, the symbolism of 9 is actually very important. It symbolizes the 9 when a baby should develop without the interference of alcohol in utero. So internationally, people are getting together at 9 o'clock in the morning to share a short message on the 9th of September. And then 9 minutes past 9, they ring a bell to break the silence and to ask people all to stand together to support pregnant women not to use alcohol during pregnancy.
Definitely more symbolic than one could ever have imagined. What is fetal alcohol spectrum disorder, and is it different from fetal alcohol syndrome?
Fetal alcohol syndrome, or FAS, is just one of the categories of fetal alcohol spectrum disorder. So FASD is actually the umbrella term that we're using for quite a number of conditions in this disorder. It is caused when a woman uses alcohol during pregnancy and the baby is then the unborn baby is then exposed to the poisonous effects of the alcohol. And then the alcohol can damage any organ, developing organ of the baby. But because the brain starts developing right from conception right through to birth, of course, the brain is the most vulnerable organ for this damage, potential damage. Therefore, people with FASD always have some form of brain damage.
Wow. This is truly hurtful, and I think that we don't understand the severity of this disorder. So why is FASD a big problem in South Africa, la eMzansi?
Yes, sadly, our country has the highest reported FASD rate in the world. Worldwide, the World Health Organization estimates that about 1.5% of the population is affected by FASD. In our country, in various communities where our organization has done research, we've done prevalence studies, and the rates range from 2.7% to as high as 28% in some communities. So this is devastating if we keep in mind that these are children and adults who have been exposed to prenatal alcohol use by their mums and then end up having organ and brain damage for the rest of their lives. Reasons why we've got such a big problem in South Africa, it's very much linked to our drinking culture and people abusing alcohol, but keep in mind that small amounts to moderate amounts of alcohol can also cause fetal alcohol syndrome. You don't need to be an alcoholic woman to have a child with FASD, but it's also furthermore closely linked to malnutrition. So if the mum is not properly nourished and is only taking alcohol during binge drinking episodes, you can imagine the damage that it can potentially do to the unborn baby.
We've just commemorated Women's Month in August. September is Breastfeeding Month and also FASD prevention. There seems to be a lot of focus on women and their responsibility towards their own health and the health of their families. What about the men in terms of FASD?
Yes, women do carry a heavy burden and the responsibility not only of their own health, but the health of their unborn babies and the family as well. So a lot of responsibility on women, but this is part of the message of International FASD Day, where we call on partners, family members, friends, and so all to stand together, especially the men, to support pregnant women and women of childbearing age not to drink alcohol during pregnancy. We can all work together to have alcohol-free pregnancies and children born without FASD. You know, there's this beautiful African saying that says you need a village to raise a child. But in actual fact, you need a village to protect an unborn child against the harmful effects of prenatal alcohol exposure. And that is actually the crux of the message. We all are responsible in this process.
So with International FASD Day in mind, what can the viewers do to assist?
I always say when I talk to people in the community, when I talk to professionals about fetal alcohol spectrum disorder, now that you know, just keep in mind that there are so many women who do not know that alcohol use during pregnancy can harm their babies. So please help by supporting pregnant women not to drink alcohol during pregnancy. Be that brave family member or friend. When you go to any function or party or so, it's often very hard to be the only person who's not using alcohol. So be that true friend to say, tonight or today, I'm going to join you and we're going to have a cold drink or water or whatever drink without any alcohol content. And then spread the message and support people, especially women, to have safer pregnancies and healthier babies.
I mean, Doc, I'm a hot chocolate girl myself, but thank you so much for spreading this very, very important message. I really appreciate it. And I hope South Africans all over the country right now have definitely turned up the volume, because it definitely takes all of us to get stuck in and involved. Enjoy your afternoon, and thank you for joining us again. Goodbye.
My pleasure. Bye-bye. Thank you.
I think the most important note to take away from today's interview with Dr. LEANA is, although fetal alcohol spectrum disorder and fetal alcohol syndrome are not curable, they are 100% preventable. So we are pleading to all of our mothers out there and women to look after yourselves, especially when pregnant. And we're also pleading to all our men out there to look after our women and children.